Hi, I'm Leapfrog.
Hi, my name is Luke Shaw, or welcome when you play in the dirt. And there's nothing but a smirk. Then you have the time to make so a rhyme. And when you make
Today
the
we're
rhyme,
going to be talking about, for
you
this
make
Steven
the
Spielberg
dime.
Highlight, Lincoln.
And that's when I say
Let's get into it.
to go ahead and play. Cause when I go, when I go. Never hurt in this.
Are you done?
But I never hurt. Yes. Okay then. Lincoln is about a president who has to make the hard decision of letting the 13th Amendment pass. And because of that, there seems to be turmoil, such as people leaving the country and starting up their own tribunal era, which is going to be in the Confederate States of America. And there's a whole lot of things to that. And, well, it wasn't the separation of states. It was actually the slavery and what made slavery such a topic in terms of what made the war so horrible. The Civil War, I mean. And not just that, my Negro muchacho.
Oh my gosh.
There seems to be no remembrance of said war because of said subject, slavery. And there's no other way to put it than this. When you're thinking about a movie that talks about such things, and when you think about Congress and what they have to say about it, what is the resolution? Well, no slavery at all. And since black people actually are people, and they are actually people of heart and people of passion, they really start to begin to make their own case, just being themselves. And everything that any opposer said wasn't true. And anything that any opposer said that could downgrade the idea of a black man or a black woman or a black kid or a black, anyone black is unfortunately false in terms of the eye of the person that's trying to go against them. But, the thing is, when it comes down to me and my constituent, we rather go based on, logic. And logic says that black people united are the strongest people ever, and they have been for a long time. Yeah, of course. And just because we are black doesn't mean we're just the only superpower. It's just that when we're together with our knowledge and with our history, we seem to know more about our history now than ever before. We do the people like historians and teachers and people of that constitute. Now, that doesn't mean that there's a lot of people lacking the history of and using the history against itself and making sure that history is not necessarily meant for people of color, but for everyone to know. That's just it. For everyone to know. It's a history for everyone to know. It's a history that includes everyone. Because everyone was in the midst of the history being that of black history. Black history is just human history in general. And we should take it as that. No? You're absolutely right. But what are the nooks and crannies of, well, Lincoln himself? What is his thought processes on said slavery? And what did he do to change America forever? Let's go into detail. Lincoln is a president to be. Lincoln is a president to see. Lincoln is one to see. Lincoln is one to see. Lincoln is gonna be the one. Lincoln is gonna have some fun. Lincoln, what's the 13th Amendment? Lincoln is on this run. Lincoln, then there's the fun. Lincoln of human race one. With Lincoln of Reconstruction. Lincoln of oh. See, I told you when you wrapped out Reconstruction, you had to take it back. Dude!
What's happened?
I don't know, you were like in hypersleep or something like that. So, being at Lincoln as president, what do you think his views were on such a subject? What do you think he felt about the individuals who were being tormented in the fields, in the houses, and in the presence of people who didn't care about them, but cared about their labor? What do you think Lincoln was talking about in terms of this whole thing? Did he want the 13th Amendment? Did he need it? Was it going to affect him? Probably. And here's the thing. Mary Todd and his sons probably had something to say about it too, being that the Civil War was about slavery, and the separation from states was about slavery. And the 13th Amendment wouldn't just bring people together in a strange way, it would keep them together at all times. Thank you again, my Negro muchacho. Would you stop? See, Lincoln was in the path of peace. He was in the path of recombination. He was in the path of coming together. He was in the path of, well, making America what it is again. And because of that, it's seemingly one of the greatest things a president could do. Sacrifice himself, sacrifice his time, sacrifice his efforts, and give away his peace and kindness to an effort so rough and rugged. People dying, people getting sick, people realizing what this president is capable of. And I think personally, he wanted the 13th Amendment to come through. I think he was a compassionate guy that saw slavery and saw it for what it is, evil. And because of that, we have him to thank for a lot of things, right? Correctamundo. And that being said, Lincoln is a compassionate guy. He's a well-educated guy. He knows what exactly he wants to do. And because of his compassion, and because of his composure, and because of his peacefulness and kindness, we won the war. And because of that, the demands of the Confederacy would have to meet the demands of America and be the United States of America again. And the great still plot of making slavery illegal, and illegal for a lot of things. The 13th Amendment was passed, then the 14th Amendment was passed, then the 15th Amendment was passed, one after the other. And because of that, there seems to be something great about being in America at that time. But there's something not great, because when Lincoln died and Andrew Jackson became president, then everything changed. The Reconstruction became about Reconstruction away from the natural principles of what togetherness would bring. And it was implemented in terms of the states, the Jim Crow laws. Man, what do we have to talk about the Jim Crow laws? Well, what do you want to talk about? I want to talk about this. The Emancipation Proclamation. See, the thing is, even though it freed some slaves in the South, it was still a great accomplishment by Lincoln to implement something that's going to be the preview of what the 13th Amendment is going to be. And because of that, there's a lot of slaves that got freed. And it's ended up being one of the greatest things to happen in America as astute to 13th Amendment. Wait a minute. What are you talking about? 13th Amendment was the staple in terms of what Lincoln could have done. And it freed all slaves in America. What did the Emancipation Proclamation do? It freed some slaves. Yeah, but the thing is, if we didn't have the Emancipation Proclamation, we wouldn't have the 13th Amendment. See, the Emancipation Proclamation was a set of peace towards words that were meant to be said in a speech. So when that happened, it sparked change in terms of the eyes of a lot of people. And it frightened a lot of farmers who owned slaves, making it so that they have to give up the ownership of their slaves. And the Slavery Pact was something that ended up being against the people who were making slaves do work for them. And well, Emancipation Proclamation opened the door for what could be the 13th Amendment. I mean, I guess you're right, but in terms of the film, what about the film? What could you talk about in regards to the Emancipation Proclamation and the 13th Amendment in terms of what the historical drama that's directed by Steven Spielberg could possibly present? Well, here's the thing about the film. The film establishes what is known as a hidden message. And the hidden messages throughout the film, everyone is talking about it. Whether or not the president is actually buying votes, whether or not the president is actually making quotas to make sure people know that the true problem was slavery and slavery to begin with, and to make sure people know that at the end of the day, the problem is where it's set. And the film does that in such a hidden way. By such actions of the Congress, by such actions of the president trying to buy votes, by such actions of slave pictures being shown to the president, and other things such as the speeches other people make about slavery, and winning the Congress over to amend the 13th Amendment. See, these things are hidden throughout the film, but they are very blatant throughout the film as well. And that's what makes the film so great. It's blatantly telling you, while in a hidden way, while in an educated way, that slavery is the root of the problem. And Civil War is a reflection of what slavery is. And I know that seems to be a little hard, but what gives it to you? What can you possibly think about in terms of this film? Well, not just me. Let's ask the people out there. What does it mean for you and I? Well, application, of course. Okay, so when you come across people who are very, very into it in terms of what they are knowledgeable in, or not even knowledgeable, what they are used to having, and you take that away, and people have a problem with it on the right side, abolitionists. And people who don't have a problem with it on the left side, slave owners. See, the thing is, when an abolitionist comes in and fights the problem indefinitely, we see the problem culminate into what is now the Civil War. And because of that, the clash between the two and the Congress and the war ground, there's death on all constitutes, whether it be the death of an idea or the death of a soldier. Right. And what this can mean for you, is implemented on a grand scale of none other than Lincoln, the soldiers, and the congressmen themselves. You can fight a passionate war with knowledge. You can pass a passionate war with strength. You can pass a passionate war with everything known to be in your heart, in your soul, and in your mind. It doesn't just take guns, it takes knowledge. It doesn't just take knives, it takes brains. It doesn't just take punching and kicking and all that other stuff. It takes a lot of heart. And if you're willing to have that heart, then you're willing to win a war on the outskirts of where you are. Absolutely correct. And because of that, here's the main thing you should take away from this. What are you doing to fight a war in your life? What are you doing to bring together a separation? What are you doing to see the light in the dark times? Thank you for my application, and let's continue forward. Okay, so this is the part where you say something snapping in the video, right? Yes, this is where I say something snapping in the video, okay? Can I say it? Why, yes, of course, my kinsman. While you do that, I will speak in French all the time. Now, it may not be French, but you know what I'm talking about. We know what we're talking about in terms of everything we do. And that would be the thing that we end up saying. And then everything that we are. And I just love it because it's great and great aptitude to what we do. And it's just really, really Mercy. Whatever that means. Thank you for coming to LogansStory. Thank you for coming to the Steven Spielberg Highlight. There are more highlights in the future, so keep an eye out for those. Also, the mission is 1,000 subscribers. You guys never get there by hitting the share, like, and subscribe button right under the screen. Also by hitting the bell. Leave a comment if you can too. Thank you again, and peace.